Hello, I'm Guadron.
Edwin Gutierrez.
Adrian, Jarrin, and I'm Jorge Gramcko.
And we'll be presenting SpaceX. This is just a brief outline of what will be presented in today's presentation. I want to talk about the history of the company. SpaceX was founded in 2002, and then they developed the Falcon 1 with one single Merlin engine. They first launched in 2006, and unfortunately that launch ended in failure. Engine failure at 25 seconds into the launch. The second Falcon 1 that was launched was launched in 2007. It's unfortunately also ended in failure. And the third Falcon 1 they launched was 2008. Again, it ended in failure. At this point, SpaceX was in trouble of going bankrupt, and they piled in enough cash to build and launch one more Falcon 1. This launch ended in success, and days after they got a contract from NASA, keeping the company alive. Following this, in 2009, they launched one more Falcon 1, and from then the Falcon 1 was retired and replaced with the Falcon 9 using 9 Merlin engines. In 2010, the Falcon 9 version 1 launched for the first time, and from 2010 to 2013, it was the main vehicle that SpaceX used. In 2013, it was upgraded to Falcon 9 version 1.1, and from 2013 to 2015, that vehicle was in service. In 2015, it was replaced with the Falcon 9 full thrust, and this is the one that's been flying ever since. Some of the company's future. So starting from 2016, they want to develop in the summer of 2017. So in 2017, the Falcon Heavy launch vehicle, and also start beginning Red Dragon missions, which are missions to Mars in 2018, and following 2 years after that, and eventually work up the Interplanetary Transport System in the following years up to 2025. So about the company's founder, Elon Musk founded the company SpaceX in 2002. He's also founder of Tesla Motors, and he's also on the board of Solar City. He has a physics degree and economics degree, and he's also proposed a Hyperloop. And Tom Mueller is the chief of propulsion at SpaceX. He has worked and developed all the engines and all the propulsion systems of SpaceX. He developed the Merlin, and he developed the Raptor. Gwen Shotwell is the current president of SpaceX. She handles the day-to-day operations and also is in charge of obtaining customers for future launches.
I'll be introducing the products released by SpaceX. First off, I'll start with the engines they developed. The 3 families of engines were the Merlin, Kestrel, and Draco RCS engine. The Merlin engine originated in the first stage of the Falcon 1 launch vehicle. In the second stage of that vehicle, the Kestrel engine was used, but was eventually replaced by the Merlin MVAC engine. The Draco RCS engine is a reaction control system engine that allows the vehicle to be maneuvered into specific positions and orientations. Some of the future engine developments being currently developed are the Super Draco, which is basically a more modernized version of the Draco RCS engine, as well as the Raptor engine. Here in this picture, we can see that Raptor engine being tested. Next, I will speak about the launch vehicles. The first vehicle released by SpaceX, as previously mentioned, was the Falcon 1. It was a relatively small vehicle that was a single engine. Eventually, they released the Falcon 9 engine, which of course had 9 engines of the Merlin engines, and developed 1.7 million pound-force of thrust. It is scheduled to be released in future years. The Falcon Heavy will include 2 more boosters that will be located on each side of the main launch vehicle that will develop 5.1 million pounds of thrust with 27 combined Merlin engines. Some of the features featured by the Falcon 9 and the Falcon Heavy is its ability to land upright, and the fact that it has so much thrust. The spacecraft developed by SpaceX was named the Dragon. This Dragon goes at the tip of every Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy launch vehicle and is interchangeable between the 2. It was the first private spacecraft to make it to the International Space Station, and is also scheduled to be developed a new spacecraft that will be based off of this one, but will also be able to carry crews into the International Space Station.
So I'll be talking about the technology contribution. So throughout the many different projects that SpaceX has developed, the very essence is still the same, which is to give people the opportunity to conquer the space. This is only possible by the enthusiastic engineers and space lovers that make this company very unique. So when evolution is embraced, magnificent things could happen. One of the visions that SpaceX have, actually the vision that SpaceX have, is to make these space travels cheaper and more affordable to people in the future. Almost 80% that goes within the rockets are made directly by SpaceX. So in other words, the company doesn't need an outsourced organization that develops certain parts that goes within the rockets, and therefore this is how the company SpaceX reduces costs significantly. The idea of the Falcon 9 is to reuse the rocket, and this is done with the first and the second stage of the rocket, which actually after launch, by the same propulsion system, it lands on the same launch pad after it took off. So this is a huge step into space exploration. As I mentioned before, this allows people and other companies to create a competition, and this is how space exploration becomes more affordable and more into the future. Now, Elon Musk said that within the medium to long range terms, the space cost will be divided by a factor of 10, and eventually towards more into the future it will be divided by a factor of 100. So nowadays, compared to NASA's project, SpaceX leads the market in terms of price by 1/3 compared to the competence, as I mentioned.
Hello, I'll be covering the state of affairs of the company. So recently, the company is known for its innovative ideas, its technology, and many of the accomplishments. These accomplishments include being the first private company to send a rocket to the International Space Station. Also, it was the first satellite to reach the geosynchronous orbit on December of 2013. SpaceX rocket was the first one to land successfully on water on April of 2016. But SpaceX also had one unsuccessful event where the Falcon 9 exploded. Exploded just moments before takeoff. This explosion resulted in about 200 million losses for Israeli communication satellites, and also the explosion originated at the liquid oxygen tank. Here's an example in the video. Currently, just last week on January 14th, 4.5 months after the incident, all activities resumed and all procedures went back to normal. They launched the same Falcon 9 on an Air Force base in California, which was part of the Virginia's Iridium satellite project. It delivered 10 satellites, and those were satellites for communication and data services. And for some future affairs of the company, there will be another launching during February 3rd to the Kennedy Space Center. It will deliver the EchoStar 23, and this satellite will be able to provide service on 8 different orbits. And then during the same month, on February, they're going to launch the Dragon spacecraft to the International Space Station for the commercial resupply service. It will contain 3,000 kilograms of resources, lab and experiment resources too, and some crew equipment. And for even further in the future, it was said by the CEO Elon Musk that by 2025 he wanted to launch 1,000 ships with 100 people each in it, and then they will refuel in the orbit and then go to Mars. Once in Mars, he wants to build a station for more refueling. The station in Mars is mainly because he wants to do space missions. I want to thank you on behalf of my team and SpaceX.